here, show me one old man who is actually living well because he's using the NSSF money that he has put aside. All that money has gone to cartels. Similarly, we are now putting this, and we are not quite sure, even the structure does not indicate who is going to own these houses. If you do not own the houses, what happens to the money you have put there? You cannot put a tax between a tax and a levy, and what happens is you do not know where that money is going.
Thank you.
It may be a good principle, but let us not implement it at this time. Put it in straight, tell us how it will work. Otherwise, this is just money for cartels. We are going to put, they are going to use it.
Thank you. The Honorable Makali.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
You got 90 seconds.
Honorable Chair had also proposed to delete this clause, and the reason is, Honorable Chair, if there is any matter which has been debated by Kenyans in this bill, it is actually the housing levy. A lot of our Kenyans are even thinking the finance bill is equal to the housing levy. And because of that, Honorable Chair, a lot of things have been said by Kenyans. I just want to single a few. There has been a general agreement, Honorable Chair, that there is demand for housing in this country, and we need to construct houses. But what Kenyans have not been very comfortable with is the approach and the strategy of implementing this important activity. The first one, Honorable Chair, what has come out is the issue of the legal framework to ensure that when I contribute, at the end of the day, I'll get money. That's the reason why it has been now changed to become a levy, so that once you pay and forget about it. The second issue, Honorable Chair, was the issue of how many Kenyans will benefit out of this levy, and those who are contributing, in case they don't benefit, how do they get their money back? That had been sorted out by the issue. So what we are saying is, this housing levy, the way it is being implemented, Kenyans are not comfortable with it. And that's why we were saying, while there is need for housing in this country, the approach is wrong. And it's on the basis of that we are saying we delete it from this finance bill. Maybe.
Thank you, the Honorable Undo. We got members who have amendments.
Chair,
the first bite on this.
Chair, I had an amendment similarly, and Chair, mine was premised on the following: that Article 43 of the Constitution provides that the government state organs shall provide housing, adequate housing, and it goes again on 4th schedule. Section 2, number 8, that's donated to the county government. So honestly speaking, what we are doing here, this is an illegality, it's unconstitutional as far as it goes, as far as it's concerned. Secondly, Honorable Chair, from even a housing economic point of view, even from a policy prescription, this is a wrong approach, Honorable Speaker, that's not going to yield anything. So Honorable Speaker, I want to urge the committee to drop this for unconstitutionality and purely a flawed way of thinking that you can solve housing in this country by this kind of approach.
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I oppose the amendment.
Members, I still have Honorable Mbui and Honorable Basil for amendments before I move to anybody else. The Honorable Mbui.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, first let me address the lies that have been told about this program. First lie was that they were saying that the people who will be deducted are those that work for government. Members of parliament, MCAs, I don't know, teachers. It is not the truth. The truth is they want to deduct every employee, every hustler working for any company in this country. Second lie, Mr. Speaker, is that they are saying they want to provide employment. Mr. Speaker, not all our children work in the construction industry. Not all our children are masons, plumbers, or electricians, or casual laborers. Some of our children are doctors. How will you provide employment for doctors in this industry? And finally, Mr. Speaker, they must listen. We must listen to the 93% Kenyans who said they do not want this housing program because it reduces our disposable income, because NHIF has gone up, NSSF has gone up, pay-as-you-earn has gone up. How much do you want to hurt Kenyans?
Thank you.
Let us be fair, and VAT has also gone up. Mr. Speaker, let us agree and get rid of this animal called the housing levy.
Thank you. The Honorable Basil.
Come first before you go to housing. Number two, if you want really to give affordable housing, remove tax on timber, remove tax on steel, remove tax on iron sheets, and the people will build houses the way they want, and also employment will be generated because there'll be mushrooming of construction. This particular, when it comes to housing, is devolved. So this discussion should be held in Senate. And since the bill cannot go to the Senate, then the only option we have is to delete it. And that's the key reason we want it deleted and removed from the bill. Thank you, and I submit my amendments.
Give me the mic. The Honorable Minority Whip.
Chair, no. Chair, I will stand to oppose this clause. Chair, first we have just raised taxes.
Just a minute. Honorable Junet, what we are now debating is the deletion as proposed by Honorable.
I want to support them, yeah.
Okay.
I want to support the amendments by all the 7 members of deletion. Chair, we have just raised taxes that of salaries to 35%. People who are earning over 800,000. You are telling them to pay 3% again of housing levy. You are telling them to pay 2.5% of NSSF, your NHIF. So in the end, that person is going to pay 40% of his salary to taxes, Mr. Chair. Secondly, Chair, and the majority leader is here. This housing levy reminds me of something. That one time in this house, we passed another levy called Railway Development Levy. When it was brought here, under a finance bill like this one, we were told this is a levy that is going to be very good, and we are going to use it to pay back the loans that we have taken from China for the SGR. 3 years later, an amendment was brought here by a majority leader like Honorable Ishungwa. And he said now, we need to open up this fund for any use, for anything. And we told him how. We just passed it here that this levy is for paying the loan of the SGR. How did it end up becoming now a money for everything and everywhere? Chair, we are going through the same route. What goes round comes round. The way things change, the way they're the same. Chair, what is going to happen is, this is money that is going to be collected in the name of housing, but it's going to be used for other things.
Thank you. Honorable Tiende had an issue on this.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I support the deletion, and I want my colleagues to listen to me, because there's a point that we've made before, and Honorable Kaluma made it. You might think that you are defeating it by numbers. But if you really want the entirety of the finance bill, drop this housing levy. If you want the entirety to fail on this account, stick to it. Because it's clearly unconstitutional. And any lawyer on your side, I am not asking, I am telling you, any lawyer on your side will tell you that if you look at Schedule 4, housing is not a function of national government. You cannot raise a levy or a tax on something that is not your function. It's as simple as that. But that's just general advice.
Thank you.
Now let me come to the debate.
You got 1 minute to wind up.
First of all, there is no framework. And without a proper legal framework, this becomes a Ponzi scheme. None of you know now how the Sahasla scheme is being run. That is how this will go. Secondly, there's ultimate confusion in terms of affordable housing and affordable ownership. It uses both interchangeably. It's not the same. Affordable housing is where the house is owned by government and anybody can rent cheaply. Affordable ownership is where you own. Our very scheme of society, Osoro, does not allow you to go and own some 8th floor in Kisii town instead of your home, in your village. Lastly, Mr. Chairman, this amounts to slavery and servitude under Article 30. Slavery and servitude is where you are being told you must pay this tax, but there is no obvious way in which you will benefit. That is slavery and servitude is unconstitutional. Thank you very much.
I mean, I've just heard 8 from this side. Let's hear the other side too.